You've been in White Houses, you worked for different presidents. If you were reverse engineering the presidential campaign based on the attributes you know a president needs, having watched him up front, what kind of questions would you ask? What would you look for in candidates, knowing what the job actually is, knowing how campaigns are, which test for something that may not be what's in the actual job? What would you test for? What would you look for in candidates?
In candidates, I would look for executive experience. I would look for private sector experience somewhere along the line. At least some grasp, which the president seems to be completely devoid of. I finally concluded that he doesn't and never will have any empathy or understanding where jobs and wealth come from. He's never lived there. He goes out and tells our young people stay away from business and this nasty private sector. I mean, he can't do the things he wants to do in government without a rousing, strong private sector. And so someone who understands that, and I think most folks, certainly in my party, do. But I guess not to be a stuck record, but I think I'd look for somebody, and I like this even in people with whom I disagree too, who is not so concerned about the next poll or the next election that he won't say what he really knows to be true about problems we face, who's willing to stake himself or herself to a set of answers, at least to place them before the fellow citizens, but with an acknowledgement of fallibility, that maybe there's a variation on these answers that is just as good or better, and finally a bias for results. There's a lot of folks in both parties these days who seem to stop at the snappy soundbite and would be more comfortable, just living with those as opposed to delivering a real result.
Do the current candidates have the capacity for what you just described, or does somebody new have to get in there?
Yeah, no, I think several of them do. And I just, and again, it's early, and some of them may have a plan, to be more clear and more bold along the way. I've been saying lately that because the president's in precarious shape, that I'm a little troubled that the Republican nominee, whoever that is, will just decide to win as the default option. That it's good enough just to let the president be hoist on his own petard and say, this didn't work, made it worse, try me instead. But to get elected, first of all, is never the real objective. And under these conditions, these really emergency conditions that we're facing, one hopes that for a president who gets elected with some authority from the people to go make big change.